I'm Brendon Lundberg, the CEO of Radiant Pain Relief Centers. At Radiant, we're changing the way that chronic pain is understood and how it's treated. 100 million Americans have chronic pain. That's more than cancer, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease combined. And similar numbers exist throughout the world. At Radiant, we're pioneering and developing new technologies, safer technologies that are built upon the latest scientific understanding of chronic pain. That understanding is that pain is a problem of the brain. We now know that in chronic pain, the brain becomes wired to expect the pain, causing it to be present longer than is appropriate or to grow in intensity beyond what is appropriate. It's less about the tissue and really about the brain. Yet all the therapies that we've had available simply address the tissue, or they're a drug that affects the global chemistry of the body, and that could be risky, addictive, and dangerous. In fact, we can't turn on the news now and not hear about this opioid addiction epidemic facing our country. It's time for a better solution, a safer solution. Lasting relief without drugs, needles, surgery, and none of the side effects and risks of those therapies.
All pain comes from the brain, but in chronic pain, it's no longer a protective and productive function like it would be in an acute pain situation, such as a hand on a hot stove, a sprained ankle, or broken bone. Essentially, in chronic pain, the brain becomes wired to expect the pain. It becomes the new normal for the brain, and the body and the tissues actually react to that expectation of pain. It's similar to what happens in phantom pain, when a portion of the body has been amputated and no longer exists. This is why the therapies that only address the tissue are fairly ineffective at creating long-term relief for chronic pain, and in fact may be doing more harm. At Radiant, we saw an opportunity with a technology that had been ignored and misunderstood by most mainstream medicine. It was FDA cleared and had been researched at the Mayo Clinic in Johns Hopkins, but because of its novelty, hadn't been effectively commercialized. This particular technology, which is known in the medical literature as scrambler therapy, works by retraining the brain. Essentially, it acts like an artificial nerve. It generates a series of artificial nerve impulses that mimic natural, no-pain nerve signaling in the body. We transmit these artificial nerve impulses via electrodes on the skin and remind the brain what no pain should feel like. The brain can then learn a healthier, more normalized perception of pain. This process of learning is known as neuroplasticity. We are working to develop new technologies and other innovative solutions built upon the same principles of neuroplasticity to allow us to retrain the brain and restore it back to a more normal perception of pain. Like anything that the brain is learning, repetition and exposure are key to changing the brain. In our therapy, clients will typically come daily for 1 hour over a 2 or 3 week process. For most, this will result in an extended period of weeks or even months, and in some cases, indefinite relief. But it's likely they'll need periodic booster treatments or refresher courses to reinforce that neuroplastic change and maintain the results perpetually. We average an 84% reduction in pain, and over 90% of our clients conclude at 0 or near 0 pain, mild pain. This is life-changing therapy and life-saving for many people. Because the commonality of almost all types of chronic pain is the brain, we're able to successfully treat almost every type of chronic pain, including cancer pain, chemotherapy-induced neuropathy, chronic back pain, post-surgical pain, complex regional pain syndrome, fibromyalgia, diabetic and other types of neuropathy, shingles, and even arthritis. We primarily sell our therapy on an annual membership, giving our clients access to the therapy as they need it throughout the year. Unlike other therapies that typically become less and less efficacious over time, we find that our therapies, because they get to the root of the problem, which is the brain, we're able to achieve greater and greater duration of relief over time. Chronic pain sufferers can be very complicated. Because they hurt, it's difficult to move. Sleep may be disrupted. The compounding of those things can increase weight gain and make them even more complicated. Drugs and the side effects that come from the drugs can compound that problem. We're able to treat patients by addressing the root problem, which is the brain, and restore them back to a more normal perception of pain, to allow them to be able to reduce their medication load and thereby get healthier with less complication. We are investing in new technologies that will allow us to stay on the forefront of the latest scientific understanding of chronic pain.
We've reapproached the whole care model. Our centers at Radiant are spa-like, patient-centered, and much more comfortable than traditional healthcare settings. This allows us to create a higher level of customer experience and consistency necessary to build a strong brand and to really help change the way that chronic pain is understood and treated.
The story of my pain is significant. It started year 2000 or so. I'm a dentist by trade, and so I was practicing dentistry and started to develop just headaches early on, and those soon turned into pain in my neck and shoulders and back, and got to the point where I had to stop practicing dentistry altogether about a year ago. I came into Radiant Pain Relief Centers with a pain level of a 7 or an 8, and left that very first day with a pain level of probably 2, and it wasn't long before that pain level was a 0. Chronic pain is debilitating, and it affects just about every area of your life, and so to say that my life has changed is, an understatement. I have joy and happiness, which is obviously important. The family dynamics, with my own family, we have 3 young kids and a beautiful wife, and we're able to do things that I wasn't able to do before. So I'm able to enjoy my family. I'm able to enjoy exercise, which I wasn't able to do. Mentioned I'm able to enjoy going on a vacation even. So it's, if I would put on a scale of 1 to 10, life was a 2, maybe even a 3. But without pain, life is back to a 9 and 10. It's great.
I came to Radiant Pain Center because I have complex regional pain syndrome, and I have neuropathy. I have cramping in mainly my feet, my hands, and I have some issues in my lower back. My experience at Radiant Pain Centers has been wonderful. From the first call until when I walked through the door, they gave me hope that they could do something for me. And I was a little scared. I was a little upset because I figured it was going to be another one. I'm not going to get any pain relief, so I was skeptical. My husband was skeptical. But after my first treatment, I had some feeling in places that I hadn't for almost 10 years been able to feel.
My treatment, I've been really free of that intense chronic pain. So now I can walk pretty much unlimited distances. I got on my bicycle and rode 9 miles for the first time in many, many years. And I'm looking forward to hiking. I think I can do that now. I hadn't been able to do that for years. So it's like, and people are commenting about how much lighter I seem to be.
Radiant Pain Relief Center has changed my life. The staff was so willing to do whatever was necessary to bring me back to life.
I went to Radiant Pain Relief Centers and was referred there by Dr. Farley, and it was just a breath of fresh air. I was met by people who believed I was in pain, who understood my pain, and who just were very sympathetic to the lifestyle and how hard it was. And I think that's missing at most of the other doctors that I went to, and it makes just a huge difference.
My experience at Radiant Pain Relief Centers has been truly nothing short of amazing. I learned a long time ago that you have to advocate for yourself when it comes to your health. And every day, I think I was one of the first patients that started in February when it came to Oregon. I can honestly say that Radiant Pain Relief Center has truly changed my life. I mean, I've got my life back.